What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. We're actually going to be doing a review today, a video review. I haven't been doing these for quite a while, but I definitely want to try to get them more often now, and I'm going to try to do this in one take just to kind of not have to do so much editing, because part of my problem, the reason I have not been doing reviews and videos is because I get too picky with all the videos that I do, so I'll try not to do that as much so that I can actually get some stuff out there, because there is a lot of horror movies that I want to watch and I don't watch because of Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. I would rather use it on there, but I want to try to reach out with some more. And today we're actually going to be talking about Leprechaun Returns, which is a 2018 film that was directed by Steven Kostanski. Now, if you're familiar with that name, you may know that he's actually directed the movie The Void, which with great acclaim has a lot of special effects. He's actually done special effects for a long time. And we jokingly said in one of our recent podcasts with Jason Smith of Sinister Cinema, he said that you would expect this to be a movie that he would direct before he did The Void, because The Void is a little bit more serious. And as we all know, Leprechaun is really not so serious. Although they did try to do some sort of remake with the whole fucking Leprechaun Origins movie, which, to be honest, not that good. But anyway, it was also written by Suzanne Kiley, who is actually an actress, and she's also done writing for Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Or should I say Evil Dead? Ash vs. Evil Dead. Anyway, one take. Anyway, so she's actually did one of my favorite episodes in the entire seasons of all of those TV shows, which is Ashy Slashy, which is, if you've seen the TV show, he has a puppet on his hand that is pretty comical. And I really liked that episode a whole lot. That's probably one of my favorite ones I've seen. But season 2 altogether was my greatest. But let me take it back a little bit here. Now, we have someone new in the seat of the Leprechaun this time, and he goes by Lyndon Porco, which I think he did a really, really good job in this film. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so don't worry. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, just minor spoilers about what the story's about. Technically, this story is the Leprechaun returns once again when a group of girls unwillingly waken him when they tear down a cabin so that they can build a new sorority house. I don't think they really tore down a cabin, but whatever. Besides the point, basically, it is supposed to retcon the second film in the Leprechaun franchise and replace it with this movie. Now, typically, something like Halloween 2018, I really didn't feel like they needed to retcon anything. I know that the story of Michael Myers and how it ended up in the second one, or in the second one, was actually kind of hard to do a third one. I've talked about this many times. A lot of people are really a little worried about retconning movies because it seems to be the hot new thing in cinema, which is like, you know, it's like finally in horror, it's like they realized that we need to go back to when it was good. But now they're like, well, let's just cut out all these other ones. So it's like, do you really need to do that? With this one, I don't think it's a big deal. It's Leprechaun. It's not exactly fucking, you know, the highest art form of filmmaking, but it's still a very enjoyable franchise, even if it's shitty and it got progressively worse as it went on. Leprechaun Returns from 2018 is actually going to be out, I believe, on Sci-Fi, but it's out now on digital, on any of your digital platforms. It was a collaboration between Lionsgate and Sci-Fi channel. Probably one of the better movies I've seen on the Sci-Fi channel, let's be honest. Their brood of stuff is not exactly flawless, but this one's actually pretty funny. It's I had a few laughs. I wasn't too thrilled about some of the character settings, as in like where these college girls are taking up house in the old cabin that was in the first movie from Leprechaun, and you know, the daughter of the girl from the first movie actually comes back to the place. You get some, revisited roles by some of the characters from the first one. Mark Holton, who played in the first movie, who shot the slingshot into the leprechaun's mouth with the four-leaf clover, he returns, and he was kind of fun. He actually wasn't bad at all. I kind of enjoyed him. He got some new, younger girls from college, so it's going to be a little college oriented with a little bit of college humor and stuff, which isn't that bad, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm not thrilled about it, but to be honest, I really don't care. I just want to see people get slaughtered in ridiculous ways. Is it hearkening back to the very first one? I mean, yes and no. It kind of goes a little bit further out. Almost feels like it was a part 3 with a mix of part 2, in a way. My microphone is trying to leave me. But yeah, I enjoyed there's a lot of gore in this movie. There's a lot of, the rhymes are back because, the leprechaun always rhymes when he's like talking about stuff. The shoes and things like that. All the typical tropes of the first movie are pretty much back. Some of the humor it didn't land all the time for me, but some of the humor made me crack up. I feel like the cadence of this movie was a little spotty sometimes. Like I feel like it didn't flow 100% great, but I wasn't really expecting that much, so I'm really not that critical on this type of movie. I don't think that this is going to be the top 2018 hit, of horror movies in 2018, but I think if you're a fan of the Leprechaun franchise, I think you'll get more than enough of, the humor and the ridiculousness and, really bad jokes, obviously, slapsticky kind of ridiculousness, but some of the gore was pretty fucking great. And Lyndon Porco, I have to give him credit. Taking over the role of somebody, that has had a long history. I'm going to look up his name right here now because I can't forget. I always forget his name. Warwick Davis, he's a fucking legend. He's done so many different things. Star Wars, Willow, obviously Leprechaun, but he passed the torch, I guess, and I think Lyndon did a really good job. It's definitely believable. I don't know. Some of the girls in the movie are intentionally annoying in a lot of college ways that you would expect. You got the party girl, you got the really smart, I'll fix anything girl. Guys, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a feminist movie because I didn't get that vibe. So for those of you who are triggered by certain things like that, it's really not that big a deal. I actually thought it was pretty good, but it definitely takes a lot of, it's a sorority. So, I mean, what do you expect? But yeah, I don't know. It ended. It had quite a few endings. I thought that were pretty good. I don't know. I think it's worth a watch. If you guys are a fan of the Leprechaun series, then you're gonna want to check it out. I mean, it's silliness, and some of the gore, I was really, every time I see those top 10 lists of favorite gore scenes and stuff, I think one of these in particular is definitely going to stand out. In those, people recollecting on really cool kills. Some of the other ones are they're good to fair. But there's some pretty unique stuff in there. So I think if you're in for the ride of that stupidity, kind of ridiculousness, jokes, puns, things like that, you'll get into it. A couple of them didn't land, so I was a little weirded out by that, but I think overall, I think it's probably, if I had to give it a score, and I really don't think I need to give it a score, it's definitely in the brood of earlier Leprechaun movies where, it regales of the time where it was kind of a thing that people looked forward to. I don't think retconning it really matters. It's just good to see him back in some facet. So if you're a fan, you're going to be delighted. But I would probably say that if I had to give this a score, it'd be a solid 7. It's not top 2018 material, But I have to give a round of applause to pretty much everybody involved for some of the work here. I thought Taylor Spritler was actually pretty good in it. She goes by Lila. At first, I was like kind of not getting into her character, but it just seemed as the movie progressed that you kind of get into it. They kind of make fun of some of the horror movie tropes in this, so she's a big part of that, and I think it kind of added to the fun of the movie. So I wasn't like standing around pacing going, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like Puppet Master was like one of those movies where it's like kind of establishing itself and threw everything in the kitchen sink at you. And it was really gory. So it's comparable in that sense. Acting wise, I think this one might have had a little bit better acting, obviously. But yeah. I don't know. I think that's pretty much sums up what I think about it without trying to spoil anything for you. There is no, end of credits stinger, so you don't have to worry about that. It is on VOD. You can rent it between like $4 to, $6.99, depending on where you go. I think I saw it on like Microsoft Store for like $5. You can even own it for like $10. Digital, plus it comes with like bonus and stuff for $10, so it's really not that bad. In fact, because I was enjoying it enough, I actually went online, looked on Amazon, and as it stands right now, they're selling all 7 of the movies. So the original trilogy, the space one, the 2 in the hood, and the Origins remake. You can buy all on Blu-ray for $16.66 on Amazon right now. So if you're interested, I thought it was a good deal. I was like, I can't pass that up. I'll buy that. You know what I mean? And I can't, and it's $16.66. Come on, 666. Not that has anything to do with the franchise, but yeah, guys, what did you think of it? Have you seen the movie? Do you agree with me? Do you think it's more of the same, kind of in the same vein like I do? I think it's enjoyable. I'm giving it a 7, not as a overall all movies. I'm saying it's like a 7, maybe an 8, just comparing it to the franchise. You know what I mean? Like, if you were just to compare it to the franchise, I've seen a hell of a lot worse in the franchise. So if you're a fan, I think you'll be okay. Come back and let me know what you think if you haven't seen it, and if you have, please sound off in the comments below. But other than that, guys, this has been my one take, my first time at doing a one take, and I will see you guys next time. Tune into the podcast every Monday at longlivethevoid.com, and as always, long live the void.